Hey YouTube family, it's Daughter of the Most High. I have been quite concerned for the past couple years that the agenda that is occurring is in fact the mark of the beast. And I thought so because it changes a person's DNA. And I assumed that was what the mark would be, that these individuals that participate in it, God would no longer recognize them because of the change in their DNA. But I also have sensed from talking to other people and exploring this that there are criteria in Revelation 13 that have not been met. And so that's what I want to share with you today, that I was thinking that it was in fact the mark, and now I'm thinking that it's not the mark. And this is actually good news, because I don't want the devil to win in anyone's life. I thought unbelievers were lost, and I thought there were believers that were doomed to hell because of this. So it actually is good news. So I want to play a portion of a teaching by Tom Bradford, and this is Revelation 13. And he's going to share some information about that essentially has not been met. So that means that this particular thing cannot be the mark. So let's go ahead and listen.
Against the covenant. Even more, the land beast, this false prophet, is going to tell the world that an image of the sea beast as the Messiah should be built and honored. And once it's built, the land beast will use its satanic power to make that image come alive to the point that it can speak. Now, upon this mind-boggling happening that no doubt is going to be broadcast worldwide, who among men could argue against the reality of the other worldly power and abilities of the Antichrist and his false prophet? I mean, clearly, those deniers who refuse to worship the image of the beast would likely fall mostly into one category: true, knowledgeable, devoted believers that see through this fraud and know that it's Satan's doing, not God's. Now, naturally, a believer in the God of the Bible could not possibly knowingly bow down to a talking image, no matter the personal cost. And so, according to verse 15, those who refuse to worship the talking image are going to be executed.
Okay, so we can see that that has not happened. That has not happened. So let's take a look at Revelation 13, and let's go ahead and read through it. So it starts out, "Then I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rising up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his horns 10 crowns, and on his heads a blasphemous name. Now the beast which I saw was like a leopard, his feet were like that of a bear, and his mouth was like the mouth of a lion. The dragon gave him his power, his throne, and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as if it had been mortally wounded." That has not happened. The first part has not happened. And I saw one of his heads as if it had been mortally wounded, and his deadly wound was healed. That's not happened. And all the world marveled and followed the beast. That has not happened. So they worshiped the dragon who gave authority to the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, "Who is like the beast? Who is able to make war with him?" And he was given a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and he was given authority to continue for 42 months. Then he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name, his tabernacle, and those who dwell in heaven. It was granted to him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and the authority was given him over every tribe, tongue, and nation. All who dwell on the earth will worship him, whose names have not been written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If anyone has an ear, let him hear. He who leads into captivity shall go into captivity. He who kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Okay, verse 11. Then I saw another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb and spoke like a dragon. And he exercises all authority over the first beast in his presence, and causes the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the beast, whose deadly wound was healed. He performed great signs, so that he even makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. This hasn't happened. And he deceives those who dwell on the earth by those signs which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image of the beast, who was wounded by the sword and lived. He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. That's not happened. Now we know that particular thing is causing many, many deaths, many sudden deaths, because of the clotting and for various other reasons. The clots are not blood clots. The clots are actually like a substance. They call it like calamari. And it's formed in the body and then causes blockage, and people have a heart attack and die. That's that sudden death phenomenon that's going on. Okay. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no one may be able to buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast, or the name or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. His number is 666. Okay, that was another issue with this particular thing, is that the number is on that particular thing when you register it. So that's also what led me and other people to view it as the mark. And so I am since seeing that there's other important criteria that has not been met. So in essence, this is actually just a way to reduce the population, and which is their plan. We know that the New World Order has been planned for well over 100 years, and part of that is to reduce the population and then control those who remain. And so I wanted to share that with you because I find it very important. Now, and also gives me relief, because there's people that I want to reach out to that don't know the Lord, and I haven't been doing that because I assumed they were lost. So that makes me very happy that I can reach out to some people that I know that did in fact take it and don't know the Lord. I can give them, another warning that it's time to repent or be lost eternally. And so that part is the good news. Also, if I can just share that in reading information about this, not what I've currently been reading, but prior to that the forehead and the hand are used symbolically here, meaning that's our thoughts, and then of course our work, or essentially how we do life, is our hand. And so some of this is metaphorical. There isn't a beast with 10 heads, and I have to scroll back up. Yeah, seven heads and 10 horns. That's symbolic. So again, I don't claim to be any authority on the book of Revelation. I still get challenged by it, but I have been praying about this and want to know God's truth and where exactly, well, not exactly, but where approximately we are in the end time timeline. And so to me, this is good news. And maybe you'll find it to be good news as well. I want to warn those people that I was just talking about that have taken it, because there's a really good chance that those people's lives will be shortened, and they may die anytime soon or in the next couple of years, depending on lifestyle choices and then how they're impacted by this particular thing. And now we know that the athletes, because their heart and their blood is pumping so hard, that's what happens, and that's what brings them to death, is these young athletes. Perhaps there's people with other health conditions that they have suddenly just dropped. We've seen it. There's proof of it in various circumstances, like news people, news anchors, and other people that just suddenly drop. And so the urgency to warn those people that have taken it is there because of that. Especially if they're a little older and have any health issues, they need to know that their time is short. And I think it's important to just warn people about that, because the fact is we live in a time like none other. And it's okay just to know God's truth, and it's okay to repent. You can repent for taking that and putting that in your being, or allowing that to be put in your being, and repent to God for taking the poison, the fetal cells, the junk that's in there, and just repent and before God, and you will be forgiven. Now, if something is in fact the mark, you're not going to be forgiven, because the word says that we can't be forgiven for it. But this other criteria in Revelation 13 has not been met. And so I think we can move forward in this way. Just people that did take it can repent of it, and then just know their time is short. It just is. So I want to share that much. I hope that's good news. And it's important to not follow the world system. The people that took that are following the world system. So they need to repent of that and get on their knees before God. So